Hey, how's it going, everyone? Figured it was time for another session of driving with DeVeaux. Been meaning to do a couple of videos now. I mean, we got our first black woman Supreme Court Justice nominee, and the disrespect she was receiving from these Republican senators. I want to talk about that. But it looks like everything now. I was getting a lot of questions on Will Smith smacking Chris Rock. Kind of didn't even really want to chat about that. I mean, so many things on my list. There's things I want to talk about. Ryan Coogler, director of Black Panther, being arrested. You know, trying to take out money from his own bank. So a lot of things have been disturbing me. But I did want to bring up something I think is a little bit different than other people are saying. People are like, oh, do I agree with Will? Do I agree with Chris? At that time, Chris Rock. And I think there's enough on that. I don't know if I'm really not trying to take sides. As a man who's made multiple mistakes in his life, times when I haven't been my best self, times when I said things I shouldn't have said, times when I responded out of emotion and not giving much thought first. So really ain't trying to judge that. I have feelings about it, but what I would like to share, which I don't feel is getting spoken about enough, so I will share it, is the apology that both men put out the day after. You know, people are still talking about the incident, the slap, and I read Chris Rock's apology that he put out. Very well said, thoughtful. You know, even as a comedian, you know, he felt some things were off limits, and his intent is to bring humor and joy and not hurt and pain. So I respected that, and I read Will Smith's statement, and you know, I'm driving, so I can't read it with you, but you know, something to the effect that we apologize, and that's not who he wants to be. That's not the man that he wants to be. That's not the man he wants to manifest. You know, he wants a world of love and kindness, which to me is so crazy. Where these little camps of Will Smith or this, people like, yeah, you know, we got to protect our women and stuff. You know, if a brother, as a man who has had to apologize for mistakes I've made, let me tell you what a man doesn't need when he apologizes. I don't need a bunch of people telling me that the thing that I apologized for was okay. If I already feel in my heart and my spirit that I shouldn't have done something, that something was beneath me, that there's something that I regret doing, if you're on my side or my friend, I mean, forgiveness, sure. Mercy, please. Grace, yes. But to keep telling me, oh yeah, the thing you're apologizing for, yeah, that was a good thing, that's not what a man needs. If Will Smith, by his words, not what I feel in my judgment, that he responded out of emotion, that's not the man that he wants to be. If that's his words, then I'm gonna go by his words, and I'm not. And he doesn't feel like that he wishes to respond that way and behave in that way, and so I'm gonna honor his words and his speech and do that. So yes, stop with all that. You know, and that's not. Let me take it off Will Smith and Chris Rock. Let me just talk about our people in general. I get it. I read some good books in Hampton University back 30-something years ago. African Studies Cluster. Shout out to all those members. Kenyatta, Kamau, and others. You know, the books that we shared and read. And You know, one of them talked about because of the lack of control black people have had in this country's history for most of its history. Sure, people may argue we have more now, but I mean, I don't think anyone would deny that for most of this country's history, black people lacked control over their own destiny, their pursuit of happiness, their families, people selling your children, raping your wife, and like men are jacked up, and it does something to you when you're powerless like this, and it embeds in you that the only time you can, you know, release or lash out is against someone that looks like you, because you're so beaten and have to be reserved and accept all this abuse all other places. The one place you said I'm not going to take the abuse is someone who looks like me, and that's where I'm gonna put out all this extra hate. And I feel, now my thought, just a lot of black men, we just do that too much, man. You know, it's just, when I see brothers looking at brothers, like gritting on who you looking at, we're not saying that to other people, white people. We just saying it to each other. You look like me, why you look like that? Our hostility is too much generated on each other. And we think it makes you tough. Like you gangster, you rolling on brothers, but you don't do that to other people. You're not consistent. You don't treat other people that way. We don't roll. George Zimmerman murdered a teenager, Trayvon Young, still walking around free, chilling. All these senators, white senators, disrespecting the black woman, you know, Supreme Court Justice nominees, stuff like that. Nobody's rolling to them. The only time brothers want to roll on each other is, you know, when we disrespect each other. You know, I'll never forget. I hate to keep going back to my incident with the police personally, but you know, it was a traumatic event and it left an imprint in my mind and thought. But I just remember like the fights outside of school between kids and gangs, and these are Crips or this one's blood, and everybody could fight each other. You could fight the people that look like you. But if cops come around like this, all the toughness is gone. The people just run. They scatter like roaches. It's like, I remember being in class one time. The young brother told me I had to leave the class for his disrespect and hostility. Didn't want to leave. Forget you, I ain't doing what you say. Like, you so tough. Because you know I'm there with love trying to educate you. And eventually, they had to bring police. And now he want to get up and go. And that made me feel terrible. All I asked you to do is go to the office. Why couldn't you hear it from me? But no, I had to get another police officer to get you to move, and now you want to move and show your respect? I say all this to say, you know, comedians, if Jimmy Kimmel has said the joke, I don't know if somebody walks up on the stage and smacks him. If Ellen DeGeneres made the joke, I don't know. He walked up, get smacked. I think it looks different. Let me see if that. I think the only reason why there's any debate or there's only two sides is because a black man walked up and smacked another black man, and that type of violence and hostility between black men is so acceptable that that we can actually take sides on it, and you know, and it's actually a debate. I don't think it's a debate if Will Smith smacks Jimmy Kimmel, or if he smacked Ellen DeGeneres or any other white comedian or female comedian. I think it only becomes a discussion is because black men inflicting violence upon black men has become taught to us as ordinary. You know, that happens, yes, and I think that's sad. I think that's disappointing. That you know, that we normalize violence against ourselves.